Alright, number 6, they want us to solve it using the square root method. And we'll go ahead and talk about that. It's the same thing as solving. But it's already set up for us to use the square root method, so we'll do that here. So negative 3, and then we have parentheses, x plus 5, close parentheses, squared equals negative 75. So on the previous problem, I didn't do it because you have to factor anyway and then go through this process. And I want you to see quadratic formula because that one works every time. And this square root method only works when it's kind of like set up in the square root. So the first thing we need to do is isolate, get the square root term by itself. So I got to get rid of this negative 3. It is being multiplied, so to get rid of it, we have to divide it. So divide by negative 3 on both sides. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, so that term goes away. And then 75 divided by 3, or negative divided by negative is a positive. And it's like 3/4, so it'll give you 25. So we have x plus 5 quantity squared equals, it's now a positive 25. Okay, so square root method just says if you have a square root, to get rid of it, you have to do the square root of it. So if you have a square, to get rid of it, you do the square root. So on this side, square and square root cancel each other out. On this side, when you do the square root, you have to add the positive or the negative sign because we don't know if that number started out positive or negative. So this will now be x plus 5 equals, and then the square root of 25 is 5, so we have to do positive or negative 5. And then from here, we have two answers that we're going to set up. We have x plus 5 equals 5, and then we have x plus 5 equals negative 5. And then we solve those. So we would subtract 5 this time, and that will give us x equals 0. And then on this other one, we also subtract 5. And then here we have a negative 5, and we're subtracting going 5 more than negative, more into debt. So it's going to give us x equals negative 10. This is not a negative times a negative because we're adding and subtracting, so be careful there not to try to convert that to positive. So 0 and 10, negative 10. Be careful. And then number 7 wants to do the same thing, square root, because we have that square there. So we have the 2y squared equals 100. We're going to isolate the square root term, so we're going to divide by 2. And that's going to leave us y squared equals 50, and then we're going to do the square root. So with the square root and the square, they cancel each other. When you do the square root of a number, you have to always add the positive or negative sign. So this will give you y equals, now 50 is not a perfect square, so we have to reduce that radical. Positive or negative, I'm going to do that on the side. 50 we can do, break this down to 5 times 10, and then 10 we can break it down to 5 times 2. So we got a pair of 5s that we can bring out, and the 2 does not have a pair, so it has to stay. So we have a 5 square root of 2, and that will be our two answers. Okay. Positive 5 square root of 2, and then negative